And you're welcome back to the CLOG Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the CLOG Digest Morning Show, and we're about to have our online news review with my co-host in the person of Miss Miriam Abnadidi. Hello, Miriam. Good morning.
Good morning, Yaira. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm fantastic, fabulous, and I'm alive.
Oh,
As
yes.
you can see, I'm in a green blazer this morning, which signifies life. And so this morning, I'm just happy to be, on the screens of CLOG TV and also CLOG Digest Morning Show.
Well, I'm glad to hear. So the weekend,
I like your hair. It's giving. It's giving luxury.
Thank you. And my dress is by EC Collections. So let me give her shout outs to EC Collections. So you can find her on Instagram and I think on Facebook as well. Yeah. Miss Bevelyn Annabelle. She sets me up quite well this morning. Yes. So the weekend is approaching. What's up? What are our plans?
Well, I don't really have plans for this weekend. I'm just anticipating.
PD, that's what you're anticipating. See it.
Please, my family members are watching.
They'll bill you. Oh.
So I just want to have, a relaxed weekend. I want to have a weekend with a blend of excitement, in your room, cozy, listening to some music. And on Saturday, happy hour will be at 4 p.m., which I'll be, enjoying tunes from them. And so, yeah.
Yes. So happy hour is by the CLOG Band. So please do well to tune in. So you said on Saturday, 4 p.m. Yes. So tune in to CLOG TV on Saturday at 4 p.m. and enjoy happy hour from the CLOG Band. She is the producer. Yes. So what's trending today? Your husband is not here with us. Yes, I think Clement is not well, but joining us later. So speedy recovery to you, brother.
Speedy recovery, baby.
What is trending? What's the news on the streets? What's the word on the streets?
A lot has been happening in Ghana. And because of time, we'll have to just touch on a few. And I think last week we had a very sad news, which involved a broadcast journalist, Kofi Adoma, who is the owner of Kofi TV. He's one of us. And I think he was, from the stories I heard, he was invited for a derby somewhere in the eastern region, I guess. And when he went there, those, they have this name, I've forgotten, those that lead the chiefs when they are coming. And so they have those guns they shoot to signify the presence
I think
the
for
chief.
that, the gun salute or something.
Yes.
Okay.
So unfortunately, one of them missed his shot, and it was directed right into the face of Kofi Adoma.
Okay.
And the video came out yesterday, and it was so clear that he had the shot on his face, and it has really saddened a lot of Ghanaians. We are really sad, and looking at the situation at hand, I think his wife came out to talk about the situation that his husband might or will undergo a surgery for both eyes, and that is a lot of money, a lot of money. And so they are appealing to Ghanaians to come to their aid, and we are also appealing to Ghanaians to support our brother, our father, our son, in his journey as he embarks on the surgery. And that is just by the way. We cannot start our day with,
Since we've started, I think I also have one here. So I chanced upon a story on X where there's this lady, Karen Babasam, who is wanted by the police, and it seems it's for a domestic abuse issue. And then her story on AsasiRadio.com was also surfacing, where she more like an abusive relationship with her partner for a number of years. So when you visit AsasiRadio.com, you would see Karen Babasam's story about her ordeal with her partner and all the things she's been through. It's quite harrowing. So it seems basically she had to leave. She left the man with the kid and everything, and it's been deemed as unlawful removal of the child from the family setting. So yes, but there will be more on that as the days go by. But yes, she was in an abusive relationship, and here at CLOG TV we do not condone domestic violence and physical, mental, emotional, verbal abuse against anybody for any reasons. No discriminations against any persons of any caliber at all. So we wish Karen all the best, and we hope that the issue is solved and then the appropriate charges are also given, yes, and then justice is also made available. So do you have anything else trending?
Yes. Yesterday, our very own president, John Dramani Mahama, came out with a statement. I think he met the first batch of his appointed nominees as he, swore them into service, and he gave a caution. And then he said, let me read. I expect all of you to begin the process of declaring your assets. The Chief of Staff will announce the cutoff date by which time all eligible appointees should have deposited their assets declaration forms with the Auditor General. And this is coming from President John Dramani Mahama. And a lot of people are excited about this, looking at the fact that we've always been calling for transparency. We want to see how much you have or how much you had when you came into power and how much you have when you're leaving. And I think it's a good start for John Dramani Mahama. But still on the issue of transparency, a lot of people have raised concerns that they need to amend the act that allows these appointees to show their declaration
of assets.
Yes, to the Attorney General alone, because we are talking about transparency. So why don't you make it known to the public instead of just limiting?
Well, there is also the incident or the possibility of pocket watching. And if maybe I come into power, I'm frugal, I'm very financially adept in things, and I'm able to save up and start up certain things, and by the end of my tenure, I've made some money. Somebody will come and be asking questions that are not necessary. But I'm sure there will be a way for the Attorney General to also communicate, or even the Auditor General to also communicate how this would work out. And speaking on your first story as well, word has come to us that Ibrahim Mahama has also taken up the charge. Yes, the cost. It's about $150,000. So he'll be supporting our brother in his surgery and everything.
Speaking about Ibrahim Mahama, when I saw the news, I was happy, because this is not the first time this man is willingly, wholeheartedly supporting people. We had an experience, and someone was like, let me hear Pim, someone talking about him that that was just by the way.
Yes. So the newspaper in front of you today, you are not going digitalized. Sometimes you want to. Okay.
So today I have with me today's daily graphic, and on the front page we can see a lot of stories making headlines. So I'll briefly go through them and then we move on. So our first story is government to provide incentives for agribusinesses to produce raw materials. Trade Minister Designate discloses, and that is Madam Elizabeth Ofosu Ajare, Minister Designate for Trade, Agribusinesses and Industry. And this woman was vetted yesterday. She was one of the women that were vetted yesterday, and trust me, she really delivered. Her confidence, her boldness,
she came prepared,
her insights. I was so happy, watching her as a woman. I realized we have a lot to do. We shouldn't just be out there with our beauty, flourishing here and there. We should have something in our heads. So reduce ministries, portfolios good, experts say, but urge caution. So that has to do with the reduction of the ministries by President John Dramani Mahama. Experts are saying it is good, but he needs to have some kind of caution. Now, no tolerance for arrogance, disrespect. President Mahama tells appointees, and as I said earlier, yesterday he met with the first batch of his appointees who were sworn in as now ministers. And we'll get into that story very soon. Affirmative Action Act requires more resources for full implementation. Minister designates for gender. And UNDP Ghana's YAI transforms lives through youth-led innovation. Dr. Alan Ani, UNDP Ghana's Chief Technical Advisor, is also saying this. So let me just read a part of the major story. President John Dramani Mahama has charged his appointees to be humble and accountable in governance, stressing that government serves at the pleasure of the people. We must exhibit tolerance for their views and work to meet their aspirations. This government will not tolerate arrogance and disrespect for the people who elected us into office, he said. The president gave the charge at the Jubilee House in Accra yesterday when he swore in the first set of 6 ministers for his cabinet who were approved by Parliament last Thursday, and they included Minister of Finance Dr. Kasil Ato-Baforsen, who is also the Member of Parliament for Ejumako Enyem Esiem in the Central Region, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice Dr. Dominic Akuritinga Ayeni, the MP for Boligatanga East in the Upper East Region, and the Minister of Energy and Green Transition, John Abdullahi Jinapo, MP for Yapie Kasaugu in the Savannah region. The rest are the Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, MP for Tamale South in the Northern region, the Minister of Roads and Highways, Kwame Govins Agboza, MP for Adaklu in the Volta region, and the Minister of Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, the MP of Asunafo South in the Ahafo region. The ceremony, which was President Mohammed's first official ceremony at the Jubilee House since he took over, began with an introduction of the ministers after the president administered the oath of allegiance, the oath of office, and the oath of secrecy to them. That is what we have in the daily graphic. And so you can read more by getting yourself a copy of today's daily graphic. And yeah. So that is it.
Thank you so much. So let's go quickly into the online stories here. So the first one is Ghana ranked 2nd safest country in Africa, surpassing Canada and Australia in low crime rates. Now, Ghana has been recognized as the 2nd safest country in Africa by Altiza Travel, outperforming Canada, Greece, and Australia in terms of low crime rates, gaining international acclaim for its safety. The global tourism company Altiza Travel highlighted Ghana's crime rates as notably low. The report, which suggests tourism destinations for 2025, states that Ghana's crime rate is lower than that of Canada, Greece, and Australia. And it also corroborates the findings of various international organizations that have commended the Ghana Police Service for its recent efforts, particularly in enhanced community patrols. So this is coming quite as a surprise, considering the fact that, well, crime rates, it depends on how well they are reported and, made known. But, I mean, on the international front, it is a good thing for us.
When I saw the story, I was happy. I was, wow, this is a remarkable achievement for Ghana. And it also speaks volumes, as looking at the strides we have made to get to where we are today as a country. And we also have to acknowledge service or security personnel for their active involvement in making Ghana the 2nd safest country
in Africa.
But Yaira, as you just
there's
said,
still a lot to do.
Are we really the safest country?
No, don't do this. Don't do this.
No, Yaira, let's call a spade a spade. We are in this country, and you and I have sat on set to discuss crime rates, post-election violence,
protesters,
a lot is happening, and I don't even know. So yes, I said I was happy, but I was shocked.
Also surprising, yes.
I was shocked because it's good.
Yes, it is good. And I know even there are some videos around where, people are doing vox pop to find out the opinions of the people on the streets or people in Ghana. And sometimes the response is they don't want to say anything because they might get picked up.
Yeah.
So if this is how the citizens were feeling at the time those videos were made, does that really make us one of the safest countries in Africa?
And I took time to do my research to find out how Ghana has been doing in terms of crime rates in the last 5 years. And 2018, according to data from Macro Trends, the international homicide rates per 100,000 people were as follows. 2018, we had 1.62, 2019, 1.81, 2020, 1.72, 2021, 1.84, 2022, 2.3, 2024 2.05, and that is an increment.
Yeah.
Looking at 2019 till now, we haven't yet published. I think 2024 is still underway. The publication of that is still underway, but if you look at the trend, you can tell that there has been an increment in crime rates in this country, and we really need to pay attention to that. This is a good news for the tourism aspect of Ghana. We can get investors and other things, but we need to pay attention. People are not safe in this country. Just yesterday, I saw a video trending where a young man was picked up somewhere around Amasaman. He had a dead body.
Yeah.
In a sack on a motorbike, not even a car, like a vehicle, on a motorbike. And this is where we have gotten to. People now feel it is the new normal. We can do these things and no one will do anything to us.
But I think also this bit of information is coming on the front of terrorism.
Yeah.
Because yes, for one thing Ghana can be commended for is the fact that we don't have the incidence of terrorist attacks or even a hub for terrorists here. I don't think there's been any findings that we have any terrorist camps. Maybe there are, but it doesn't seem to be active. They seem to be more dormant. So on the international front, it may be more related to terrorist attacks than the internal crime rates. But then also, they each play a role.
Exactly. It is from the internal that will lead to the external. Yes, a time is coming. If these things are not kept, people will not feel safe living in Ghana. Trust me. Regardless of economic, situations and other, people can cope with, poverty and other. We cope.
No,
people are they've been coping, but crime rates and other things.
Yes, but then
cases.
Poverty is what led to the crime rates.
Exactly.
Yeah. So where's the coping in this?
So that brings that brings me to my next point, where I would like to touch on the fact that the tourism ministry needs to pay attention. They need to leverage on the strides we've made, the rankings and other things to boost, tourism, to showcase the beautiful things we have in this country, and also to work on the reconstruction of some of these tourist sites or some of these recreational sites that have gone bad, so that they can create employment for people. And
they should rather also work hand in hand with the police services or the security services, so that when foreigners come, that safety that they read about, they can actually experience it. Because it will be very bad to get what I wanted versus what I got, or what was advertised, as Ghana being safe, and then they get there. Because in countries like India, India has such beautiful, amazing, tourist sites, but most of the time, the people that visit, when they go and they come back, they hardly have a good experience. I saw one where a man and his wife, and both of them were assaulted in all kinds of ways that it is traumatic. India. So India is a very, very unsafe place to travel, especially if you're alone and a lady. And even with your own husband, sometimes it may not be safe for you.
Husband needs to be a
right? So it's... But then it's a good thing. Ghana should just improve upon this. There is more room for improvement.
When was the last time you saw a video of, our tourist sites being advertised?
It's been a while. Yes, I think the last thing I saw was was it that canopy walkway at the Volta region, Oti Falls. Yes, they had constructed the canopy walkway, and
I think we should be promoting them more often as well. Now we are the safest country, second safest country in Africa. So what next? Let's put tourist sites out there. Let's rub it, in the faces of people. Let them see the beautiful things we have in Ghana, right? So that they can associate with such things.
But then also we need to be careful, because I think our older generation tends to see that at the time Dr. Kwame Nkrumah opened up the borders for, free movement in Africa and things, some people from other countries came into Ghana and rather engaged in more criminal activities. So when it goes out that, yes, Ghana is really safe, because if they find out that, okay, this place is conducive for such behaviors, you see them trooping in more. And this is not a xenophobic comment or anything of the sort. This is about safety and tolerance too. So we need to also be careful to draw the balance.
It will boil down to content and other things that the media should broadcast. If people are really paying attention to content, or we have editors that pay attention to which particular content that should be sent out for the consumption of people, I think that will also help.
But then again, so I believe it is quite true that Ghana is pretty safe, because during the elections, if you remember, a lot of the foreigners living here in Ghana were making videos about the fact they were so scared about the elections. You know, one foreign national mentioned that her neighbor, who is Ghanaian, said she would go and vote and then later go to the market, and she was shocked. Hey, the market will be open. Like, you know, she was actually expecting some sort of tension in the nation, but people just casually went to vote and then came to and went about their day. Ghanaians, it's not the same in a lot of countries.
Peaceful people. We are natural. It's just that we've given way to the devil.
The devil.
It's the devil.
Leave the devil alone this
morning. Because what is happening at Ablekuma North still baffles me. I don't understand. Why can't one person just accept that, oh, okay, you've won, take it and go?
If it were to be you,
I would have given.
Right. Okay. When is your turn? We'll hold her to this. Yeah. So let's take a few comments. So this is from Michael Lamweni. Good morning, CLOG TV. Both of you are looking elegant, and speedy recovery to Clement. Hope to see him fully recovered. Thank you very much, and thank you for your concern. HM Joe says, happy Cocoa Digest morning, our wonderful bevy. Thank you. Now, this Andy Dusty says, good morning, Cocoa Digest, and kudos to IGP. I'm sure most of us can attest to his good works. Thank you for your comment. HM Joe says, down parade duo, kudos to the Ghana Police Service for their work, but more room for improvement. A big shout out to one of our very committed and dedicated viewers, Mrs. Millicent Money. Thank you so much for watching. A big shout out to you and your family, and I hope you're having an amazing day this morning. Thank you also for your comments. So let's go to the second story quickly. So this one says, non-operational Commander Sugar Factory needs urgent overhaul. This is by Ofosu Ejari, and it says here, Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejari, the Minister Designate for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, has emphasized the pressing need to rejuvenate the Commander Sugar Factory for the benefit of the Ghanaian people. Now, the factory has been inactive due to a lack of raw materials, which is a persistent issue that has greatly hindered its operations. In her appearance before the Appointments Committee of Parliament yesterday, she emphasized the significance of revitalizing the factory as a vital measure to decrease the nation's dependence on sugar imports. Now, she pledged to collaborate with the appropriate ministry to evaluate the factory's current state and facilitate its transformation into a fully functional and valuable asset for the country. Oh, so that's Katie Hammond on us. Yeah, so Minister. One district, one factory. What happened that Commander Sugar Factory seems to need? So
before I even come to that, we all know that this factory or this sugar factory was built or rebuilt because it was existing before it was rebuilt by President John Dramani Mahama during his administration, and unfortunately he lost power, and then President or former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo took over, and he also came in, did a little, renovation, invested, and according to my search, about 3.6 million Ghana cedis, was used in the reconstruction of this sugar factory, and he promised that it was going to start operation. It was going to employ over 7,200 Ghanaians, I mean, obviously, to be working there.
So what happened?
Ira, that's the same question I want to ask you. Me? You see, we are in this country and we have experienced this issue a lot. The fact that current administration does
start
not,
something and then the others,
they do not continue with previous administration's projects. And I think that is one of the things that is really fighting against us as Ghanaians, and one of the things that is going against us, because we don't want to we don't want to share the glory.
Finish what someone started, because the we attributed to.
But at the end of the day, look at the number of people this job or this factory is going to employ. Over 7,000 Ghanaians. We are in this country complaining of unemployment.
Well, it also goes to show that most of the time our politicians are only thinking about votes. Because if Party A comes to finish or Party B started, would it give them votes or to send votes to, the previous parties? Things like that are happening. And one thing that stood out to me is the fact that there is a lack of raw materials. And the way Ghana, our agricultural setting is, are we really sure that we don't have raw sugarcane that, can be processed?
So I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago, Sugarcane Growers Association, came out to call on management to adjust the prices of raw materials. And so they had this issue that the raw materials that they were supposed to use, in the production of these sugar that we want, the prices are too high. They cannot afford them. And each and every time we keep saying that this persistent issue of inadequate raw materials is the problem. And so why is it that management has sat and not, listened to these people? That was 3 years ago. Nothing was done about it. And we are still here. The factory is there. Yet we have Sugarcane Growers Association in this country.
Because one thing we do not lack as a nation is the raw materials. When it comes to food, when it comes to even our timber, our metals, we have all of that, the natural resources. So how is it that there's a factory and then it is lacking the natural resources or raw materials? Because I think another problem too could be the road network. Because we know our roads are really bad, especially in the rural areas or even the townships. So maybe transporting sugarcane from, let's say there's a sugarcane grower in the Volta region, transporting it to Komenda may be an issue because of the road network.
Yeah, you've raised one issue. So what do we do as a country? Why don't we tackle it from the roads? Why? Why do we always want to get to the end? Before we seriously, because sometimes when you look at the issue, it is not anything big. It is just these minor, basic things that are supposed to be done. Yet we are focused on transforming the capital of Ghana, Accra. Most of the developmental projects we see.
And a lot of grandiose projects, when we could just go down to the roots. Because if our road networks are really good, transportation of food would not be an issue. Like, remember the story where there was this really big truck transporting plantain and then it capsized. Imagine the loss. And this when the capsizing happened, it was also definitely attributed to the road. And I think it was even in a bush or something. So you can see that the road is not even pliable for a car, and this is a truck. So maybe it hits something and all of that. So imagine that's happening to somebody who has tirelessly tried to grow his sugarcane with all the subsidies that he needs and hasn't gotten, but being able to do something only to run at this kind of loss. So I think we should start from, the road networks and then we move.
This trade minister designates, as I said earlier, she's going to deliver.
Of course, we wish her the best.
I like the fact that she said she's going to start from checking the health of the factory first. And that is very, very important, because you cannot start production without assessing the strength of the equipment you have in the factory. And so I think that is a good start. But I'm hoping that it doesn't take forever. Because you send people out to go and, assess these things, and then they come
with a whole different story. And even I think in the more extensive story there was something about missing parts too. So I'm just hoping that when this factory was shutting down, people didn't steal things to go and sell.
Hopes are right, Ira. There are some things that you don't even have to guess. It happened. It happened.
I didn't accuse anybody. Anyway, we have one more comment here. This is by HM Joe. He says, Commander Sugar Factory Brewer Hawaii, I pray it starts production this time. We also pray so. And I mean, now we have a new minister and she's prepared to deliver. So, of course, we will just give her all the support she needs.
It's not just, vibes.
Oh, it's
because
not.
The way they were answering that, we have to put Ghanaians first all the time. Put the Ghanaian first, because it is the taxpayers' money that you are using to, build these things. It is for our own benefit, and so I mean, we should always put the Ghanaian first when we are doing these things.
Thank you so much for joining me here today for the online news review. Yes, our time is up, and a big thank you to you all for sending in your comments as well. Next is the business segment with Clement Yabankwe, and it seems his health is better. He can do the business segment. So yes, we are glad to have him back here. So yes, please do stay tuned, and we will be right back.
Good morning and welcome to Business Update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. In today's story, interest rates are expected to remain stable in the Treasury Bill auction schedule for January 24, 2025, despite the government heightening demand for short-term instruments to roll over maturity dates.
Cut in November 2024. Businesses are anticipating another reduction to address high borrowing costs that continue to hinder investment. However, inflation remains a pressing issue, reaching 23.8% in December due to rising food prices and currency depreciation. At its last meeting, the MPC highlighted these economic challenges, and stakeholders are hopeful for decisive actions to curb inflation and stabilize the economy. Rates have been rising.
Away from that, the Bank of Ghana's Monetary Policy Committee started its 122nd meeting yesterday, January 22, 2025, to evaluate the economy and implement measures to ensure stability. This three-day meeting, the first for the year, will conclude with a policy announcement on January 27, 2025.
Start of the year, currently averaging around 29%, reflecting signs of economic strain. On Friday, the government aims to raise 6 billion Ghana cedis through the sale of 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day T-bills to cover 5.6 billion Ghana cedis in maturing bills. Investor interest in T-bills remains strong, fueled by the attractive high interest rates, even as markets anticipate no changes in monetary policy this week. Analysts note that the trend is further driven by the Treasury's need to manage significant upcoming maturities.
The Mobile Money Advocacy Group Ghana has expressed optimism about the positive impact of removing the e-levy on their operations. During his recent vetting, Finance Minister Dr. Ato Forson announced plans to abolish the e-levy in the government's first budget.
Eliminating the e-levy will encourage more customers to deposit funds in mobile wallets, reversing the decline in deposit caused by the levy. The tax on electronic financial transactions, introduced to generate revenue, faced widespread criticism from both citizens and businesses for hindering the adoption of digital payment systems. The levy was particularly burdensome for the unbanked population, which rely heavily on mobile money services for transactions. Its removal is expected to boost mobile money usage and drive economic activities by increasing the adoption of digital platforms. Meanwhile, the Bank of Ghana has urged stakeholders in the mobile money sector to focus on safeguarding the industry and promoting its sustained growth.
That's all we have for you on Business Update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. Do enjoy the rest of the show.
And you're welcome back to the Cocoa Digest Morning Show, and we are making waves on your at CLOG TV, and we are also streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, and you can catch us there as well. You can send in your comments and also vibe with us. Tell us how you're feeling about our morning show, and we'll gladly read them out. We want to hear from you, and so any of our segments, you can just just go on your phone, type something, and let us have a feeling of your engagement with us on this morning show. Now, I'm stepping in for Nanaya Asare to bring you some sports news this morning, and so we'll be right back. And yes, so let's get straight into the story. We have three interesting stories or sports news that we have for you this morning. And so starting off, Legon City is currently battling in the lower half of the Ghana Premier League standings, have boosted their squad with the signing of experienced former Hearts of Oak defender Robert Sowa Ado. The centre-back, who left Hearts of Oak in June 2023, returns to the league in a bid to strengthen Lagos City's defence. So Ado becomes the club's fifth signing in January, joining fellow newcomers Elijah Setekla and Emmanuel Jemfi, both former Asante Kotoko players. Under the guidance of former Ghana international Yao Achiampong, Legon Cities is hoping Sowa Ado's experience will help propel them up to avoid relegation after finishing the first round in 17th place with just 14 points. There you have it. Now, away from that, the chairman of the Black Stars Management Committee, Dr. has a support for Kofi Adams, the newly nominated Minister for Sports and Recreation. He believes Adams has the necessary qualities to succeed in the role. Adams' nomination was confirmed on Tuesday as part of the third batch of ministerial appointments. In an interview, Dr. Abe, who is also an executive council member of the Ghana Football Association, emphasized that Kofi Adams has the right skills for the position. If approved by the vetting committee, Adams will take over from Mustafa Yusuf, who has served as sports minister since 2021. Now, into our last story. In a remarkable turn of events, former Chelsea star Florence Malouda has joined the military in French Guyana. The ex-winger, who spent 6 successful seasons at Chelsea, was part of the team that won the Champions League in 2012, is now serving in the Amazon rainforest. Malouda has enlisted with the 3rd Forest Infantry, and reflecting his deep ties to his homeland. This transition from a football career to military service is truly inspiring and showcases his commitment to his roots. And that is what we have for you in the world of sports. And let's take this break. When we come back, we'll celebrate some amazing personalities. may you grow in God's grace as well. Happy, happy birthday. Okay, happy womb escape to you, Mawena. May your life be celebrated as the Lord open another divine chapter in your life. You are indeed an epitome of humanity. Once again, happy, glorious birthday to you. And this is from Kwabena. Is it a Kwabena we all know? Apostle General Clement. Everyone will see you today. But by the way, happy birthday to you, Mawena. We know you. We know of you, so don't worry. Okay, so thank you so much for bringing in your messages as we, celebrate with you each and every time on the morning show. Keep them coming in, and we'll be always happy to, celebrate on the morning show. Now, diving straight into our lifestyle conversation, today we are discussing, or we are just going to give you tips on the future of online business. Now, just imagine this, that on a sunny afternoon, you are in your house, you are in your room, craving that beautiful sneaker that you want to step out with. Yet, navigating traffic through Accra, getting to shops in Accra to go get that sneaker could be very unbearable, right? Instead, with just a few taps on your phone, the sneaker finds its way to your doorstep. And that is the convenience online shopping comes with. Now, it is no more, but it is a lifestyle, because that is the way to go now. People have, been cut off a lot of stress with the introduction of online businesses. And it is very important that we give you some, tips on creating a business for yourself, working comfort of your homes, at the comfort of your offices, whilst, earning a lot from that business as well. And that is what we will be talking about today, the future of online shopping. Now, let's look at some of the trends that have influenced or shaped the business or e-commerce, some of the trends that are shaping businesses we have online. First of all, we can talk about our mobile phones, smartphones, the increment in or the advancement in technology we have today. We have a lot of smartphones today. Everyone is abreast to using that, and that is one of the trends that is influencing online shopping. Now, you can just with an app, you can just create a business page for yourself, develop a passion, something that you feel you can do or sell at the comfort of your, just develop or create a page for that, and you can let your viewers or followers get to know about that. We can also talk about social media shopping. Lots of platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and even TikTok are now, boosting a lot of businesses out there. We don't even have walk-ins again. I know of someone who had to shut down her shop and, go into these online shopping, because people do not even walk in the shop as they used to do before. And that is one of the trends that is also influencing online businesses in Ghana. And so if you're young lady, if you're a young gentleman watching me today, I want to tell you that online business has come to stay. As I stated earlier, it is not luxury. It is not a luxury at all. It is now a lifestyle. And so if you want to venture into any business, you should consider these tips I'm giving you this morning and venture into that. We can also look at payment innovations like digital payment solutions, including our mobile money. Yes, mobile money, gaining transactions, making transactions easier and more secure. Now, for your homes, you can send any amount of money to anyone at all, even across the globe. Yes, we have systems put in place to ensure the swiftness of these transactions. And this is one thing that is also shaping e-commerce or online shopping in Ghana. Right. But we can also talk about the consumer behavior, how these trends have, in a way, influenced the expectations of our online businesses as well. Now, demand for speed is one of the consumer expectations that we cannot take out. We have people that when they request for something or they place an order, they need it now at the same time. And because of that, that is why we are entreating all of you to, venture into the business online shopping, because it is very fast. When you place the order, it gets to you. But I think the challenge sometimes has to do with the distance. If it is not proximity, if it's not too close to you, then it'll have to take some time. But if it is within your enclave, you can get it at the very same time you placed that order. We can also have personalization. Some people, consumers have personalized their expectations around some of the recommendations they receive online. And so because I prefer to, get this, the algorithm that the internet serves us provides us with the things that sometimes we even think about. And so you can be in your room thinking about craving, some hot watches, some hot banku, and then you just go on the internet and there you have it. Both Food is advertising Hadia Muni's wache, is advertising, that food you've been craving. And so that is one of the things that, is shaping the expectations of consumers as well, shaping and as well, changing. Yeah, so that is it. But online businesses be spoken about without challenges. Every business, of course, every business comes with a challenge. And one of the challenges you are likely to encounter is logistics and delivery issues. So the information you get from your consumers might be right, but maybe the delivery, information on their delivery might be wrong, and that can delay sending in the products to the person. And also payment processing. Because it is online, some people request for payment before delivery. And that is where the trust issue, comes in. And so if you really don't trust the person, you wouldn't want to send the money to the person. But some people also do this because of security reasons. You might not send the money or give the money to them if they bring the product to you. Some even end up abusing the sellers or dispatch riders. And that is why most of the vendors, online vendors, would want to take payments before they deliver the product to you. And so that is one of the challenges you are likely to encounter. And competition. We cannot take out competition from this discussion, obviously, because you're not the only one selling that particular thing. And now because it could be the positioning of the product, even in the minds of consumers. Some people use music to sell their product. Others use, some people use music to sell their product. Others use the product itself to sell. Others use influencers. Others use themselves. They use their experiences. Anything that you believe can sell that product out there for you, you should try and work around that, and it will work for you, because competition is sometimes is good. It's good to have competitors. It shows that your business is thriving wherever you are. So these are some of the tips that we want to give you this morning on the lifestyle segment, and we want to advise or admonish all of us, because of the economy, because of how the economy is, you need to venture into other businesses to bring you some form of income to support you. And in so doing, we are all going to be self-sufficient. We are going to help ourselves in so many ways that we will not have to depend on a lot of people, or depend on our parents, depend on our loved ones for most basic things, So it is good to, think about these online businesses and venture into any of them. And I hope we are all going to be successful at the end of the day. So this is where we end the lifestyle conversation here on the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. I am Miriam Abena Adede. And up next, we have our main discussion. Yaira and her guests will take us into some, tips. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Babette now, maybe.
To experience. Clement.
Yeah.
I think all experience are there now.
To me, Babette, that's what I'm.
And I'm some air candy.
Yeah.
Sound check.
Hello.
Reno, you can come here.
Hello. Can you hear?
Just Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the Cocoa Digest Morning Show, and we're about to have our main discussion with my guests here. And I'm sure if you were following the Poll Watch productions we had a few weeks ago, you might be very conversant with the vigorous engagements they tend to have, yes, about political issues. So we have Clement Yabankwe and Randolph Ifrifa Owari, who is our political analyst of CLOG TV here, and we're about to be discussing the ministerial appointments by our new president, President John Mahama. And my dress here is by EC Collections, and Miriam's blazer is also from Blazer World. So do well to search them on Instagram and follow or even patronize their goods as well. Now, we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube as always, so you can also send in your comments and suggestions there or onto our WhatsApp number, and I will read them out loud. When the phone lines are opened, I will also alert you so that you can call and share your sentiments as well. So let's get into the conversation. Gentlemen, a good morning to you.
Good morning.
Before I ask how you are doing, me, but Tim warn me. People have stressed in forward, you will not stress me in this new year.
This is a new year.
Yes, new year, new behaviors. We adhere to the times. No.
Don't worry.
Yeah. So, how are we doing?
Very well, thank you.
Yourself and you, Clement, how are you?
Grace. By
yes,
grace.
We heard you were not very well.
Yeah, but
you are pushing through.
Sure.
I'm glad to hear that. So, President Mahama has started appointing ministers and things, and I think we should have enough time to go through all the ministerial appointments and share something. But before we start delving into that, what are your sentiments so far? What have you noticed? What are your opinions on the appointments in general before we break them down?
Kiara, once again, good morning to viewers. And as Ciara said, we are here to discuss president appointment. Overview, I think the president has really stick to his promise that within 14 days in office, he's going to his cabinet.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what he has done, because the last batch of ministers was released on Monday, and that Monday was the last day of the 14 days. So I would say that the president has done well. As we said, we will delve into the various people and the ministerial appointments given to them. Yes, but overview, I think the president has kept to his promise. Okay,
what about you, Randolph?
Oh yes, good morning to you and your viewers as well. And I welcome them once again for this new year, into this new year. But then, when it comes to the president, I think he's done well. And it's been so far so good, because at the end of the day, when elected, you have no excuse. It's for you to deliver. And you cannot deliver without having people that the Constitution gives power for you to nominate or appoint people you will be able for the period. And I think so far so good. He's been able to do that within that period. So I think I commend him for that, because his leadership actually determine, or how fast he gives up his leadership would determine how fast probably he will go, because he has only 4 years, and within 4 years you have no excuse. So you need your leadership on board to start working on and getting familiar with the system within some period before governance can actually take off. Okay. So far so good, I think. So far it's okay.
Okay, so shall we then proceed with the ministerial appointments? So I think we'll start with the more popular ones and then work our way to... So we have our Minister for Finance as Dr. Cassio Atto-Forson, and he has been appointed as the Minister Designate for Finance. So
he has been sworn in.
He has also even been sworn in, yes. So what are our sentiments? What do we think? What are our hopes and prayers for him?
So what I would say about Dr. Forson is that is he an experienced person is experienced person. I believe in that. I also believe that he was there way back 2013 as a Deputy Minister for Finance. So at least he knows the in and outs of the Ministry of Finance. So it's easy for him to quickly put things together to make our economy more better as it was, or even as we expect from him. And one thing I like about him is the fact that he always sticks to his words. If he says he's not going to approve this. He's not going to approve. He says he's going in for this. He's going in for that. So we still want to see that character in him. We don't want a situation that when he comes and assume the office, then he portray different character.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't want that thing. Okay. So we want to see him as the Dr. Forson we know way back 2013, where he was doing good things for Ghana in terms of the economy, and even whilst he was a minority leader, what he was doing, and currently the majority leader, what still he was doing. So we, as I said, we still want to see him putting measures in place. Yes, okay. for.
So I picked him out specifically because of the issues we've had in the last 8 years concerning the finance minister. You know, there was a point where we had parliamentarians coming together to request for, you know, the finance minister to be changed and things like that. So with this new finance minister, what are your expectations, Reynold?
Well, so when it comes to matters of finance, sometimes it's very tricky. And I like the fact that we have a young man who is coming there to man. I mean, he is actually he has some experience already within that sector. Because I know I think he was the deputy those days, so he's familiar. But then Ghana's economy is very dicey, and so sometimes you may have all the experience and exposure, but then the nature of the economy, which is mainly a foreign-based economy, where we are doing mostly importations, which even as a finance minister or even the government, you may not have the full control because of the way marketing and the business is done. So I wish him well. He has actually, he has the experience to be there, and he's been appointed. So he will put together things just with the government to be able to work on economic policies and also to help our debt. Our debt is also an issue. So that at least our debt, in fact, the way our economy is, eventually we'll still have to go and get any more debt, because if we truly want to develop, we cannot sustain with what the revenue we have. So at the end of the day, we'll still have to go back. But then I'm expecting that he will, with the government, put structures in place to help manage our debt. Our debt restructuring is very important. And then policies that will help to boost the economy and also to bring up very good, how do I call it, investor confidence, so that at least the economy will grow. And also look at other sectors that will give us, will boost the economy in terms of where we are looking at other projects or programs that will bring entrepreneurial projects or will give us the needed economic boost. If not that, no matter what qualification you have, it will be difficult to achieve the success. But I wish them well, and I wish him well.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to take a few notes about the ministerial appointments here. So we have Eduardo Maneboama, who has been appointed as the new defense minister, and he was the former minister for communication. Then we have Larry Bevlolati, a retired lieutenant colonel, and he has been named the special envoy to the Alliance of Sahel States, so AES. And then we have Seth Emmanuel Tekbe, former finance minister, now designated as the presidential advisor on the economy. Then we have Julius Debra appointed as the chief of staff, Callistus Mahama appointed as the executive secretary. Then we have, Dr. Kasiawatu Forson as our minister for finance, and Haruna Idrisu has been appointed as the minister for education, and he has previously served in roles, in various ministerial roles, as we know. He was also the minority leader, in the last 8 years too. Then we have Governor Kwame Agboja appointed as the minister for roads and highways, and expected to oversee the development and maintenance of our infrastructure. Then we have Eric Opoku, appointed as the Minister for Food and Agriculture, and we have Dr. Dominic Akuritinga Ayine, and he has been appointed as the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, and Dr. Ayine has been tasked with overseeing the country's legal affairs. Then we have John Abdullahi Jinapo appointed as the Minister for Energy, and then we have... So we will also talk about the Office of the President. We have some appointments there, and I'm sure some of them were very much expected. But the ministerial appointments and the vetting process, from the little I've seen, you know, the responses from people I've seen about the vetting process, we've seen that Honorable Afenyo-Markin has been quite vocal in the vetting processes, and some people have various sentiments about it. So yes, let's talk about the vetting. How do you see the vetting process? I think even yesterday, Honorable Oponkoma also asking some questions. We've seen Frank Anodompre as well. We've seen Afenyo-Markin as well asking very crucial questions to our nominees. What are our sentiments as well?
Okay, so before I'll touch on the vetting, I still want to say something small about appointment. Let's take a look at the ratio of males to female.
Yeah.
In the appointment so far is very important.
Yeah. We will come to the third batch, then we do the general. So for now, those who have been vetted, yes, what do we think about them, the vetting process especially, and if crucial questions were asked, if they were answered properly as well?
Yes, so I think the vetting process has been smooth, has been successful. I would say it's something like a formality you need to go through.
Okay.
No matter how they are going to scrutinize you, at the end of the day, you'll still pass through. But people are in the vetting room more prepared, and they know what they were talking about.
Yeah.
I can pick the like of Honorable Eric Opoku, Minister Designate for Agriculture. He knew what he was talking about. So any question that comes to him, he answers, and even answer it more than even what they expect. The likes of watched Honorable Emilia Atta. The woman was so like splendid. Any question posted to her, she's relaxed in the chair, and she was just giving them the question.
Yes.
So you could see that all those people coming in for the job, they know what they are doing. They know what they're about. They are not there just because they've been appointed. They know what they are in for. So any question that is being asked them to, they give that answer that they actually need. Not only them, even the likes of Haruna Idrisu to education. I know someone like Haruna, when his appointment came out, people were making lots of noise. Why Haruna at the Ministry of Education? But during his vetting, realized the answers he gave to the committee. So I would say that so far so good. It has been very wonderful.
Okay.
It has been very wonderful.
So Raindo, what are your submissions about this as well?
Well, when it comes to the appointments, just as we know, the vetting, it's a mandatory process, and the purpose is to scrutinize you, to be able to get the understanding or know that you know your job role, or to know that, of course, you are fit for purpose. And I think so far, all the people who have actually been on the process have distinguished themselves. The other aspect also has to come with the concern many people raised concerning probably the leadership or the members of the panel. You see, they being represented there is not to please anybody. It's to do their job. Their job, just like you've gone for a job interview, and this is a job interview.
Okay.
You need to be asked questions whether you understand the role you are going to play. Well, you are not going to play the role just like for your private business. This is taxpayers' money going to be given to you to manage a ministry, and including people and a whole population. And our interest in everything is in you. So, of course, you are not going to be treated there with kid's gloves. You get it. So, in fact, many sentiments or issues that are being raised, I believe that, I mean, yes, people have their own right to ask questions or make comments. They are there, and the appointment committee is to make sure Ghana gets value for money. And anything that we are doing there, or whoever comes through, I mean, of course, just imagine this, it goes global. So imagine that people come on the appointment committee and they are just treated like friends and family. And outside world, they wouldn't take it serious. Well, this is a public purse. In other jurisdictions, I mean, even this, I mean, they were able to compromise in a way for them to waiver. Sometimes, normally, they are supposed to wait for almost 21 days after the president has submitted his list. They are the committee is supposed to wait for about 21 days for everybody in the country with issue with the appointees to submit their petitions. And it has happened before that people who are going through the appointment, they went and they were denied.
Yeah.
And of course, so it means that the system needs to make sure that you are doing the right thing and you are, you are fit for purpose. And that is what they are doing. And I think so far, they've all done well. Just that sometimes, I know temperament comes in. And sometimes they have those kind of hitches a bit. But so far, so good. I like their cooperation. In fact, they are all friends. And so I like the teamwork they are actually doing, both sides, both the majority and the minority. And I think so far, so good. They are working well. Okay. And I like that collaboration they are having.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's go quickly to the third batch of nominees, and then we can go to the Office of the President, the staff that has also been appointed there. Then we come back to talk about some of the policies, especially with some of the vetted ministers. Yes, there were some key policies that they mentioned that they intend to embark upon. So for the regional appointments, we have 3 more. And so for the Upper West, we have, please forgive me if I am not able to, Pozuing Charles Luanga. And then we have Bono Region, Joseph Adai Akwabwa. And then we have Bono East, Francis Owusu Entry. Then for the Ministers of States, for the Ministry of Defense, we have the Dr. Edward Omanebo, mentioned him. Then Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations, we have some. Then we have Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Ama Akufibua, also an MP. I think, yes, almost all of them are MPs. Then Ministry of Sports and Recreation, we have Kofi Idi Adams. And we have Ministry of Labor, Jobs and Employment, Abdul Rashid Pelpool, who is also MP. Then Ministry of Health, we have Kobna Minta Akando. Then Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, we have Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed. Then Ministry of Transport, we have Joseph Bukari Nikpe, MP. Again, forgive me for the mispronunciation of names. Ministry of Interior, we have Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak. Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we have Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. Then Ministry of Works and Housing, we have J. Kenneth Gilbert. Then Minister of State in charge of Special Initiatives, we have Emmanuel Kwejo Ejekum. Then Minister of State for Communications, we have Felix Kwachi Ofosu, MP. And Minister of State Climate Change and Sustainability, we have Isifu Seidu. It came as quite a surprise when Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa was nominated for Foreign Affairs Ministry. I don't know. I think personally I was expecting that he would be the Minister for Communications because of the way he was able to be bringing out a lot of the issues with our past government and the scandals. So, he was more like communication, information. Yeah. What do you also think about these